Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you for having this hearing. And I, too, want to commend Mrs. Lewis for being here, and thank you for putting a human face to this story. And I wondered if you could talk a little bit about what exactly this loss has meant to you, seeing a 40% cut. And obviously, people are talking about something even bigger, but what has that meant to you? And the reason why I bring that up is people want to know why there's frustration in America now. I can tell you why, because when the recession hit and people basically, you know, we bailed out the big banks and they got money and everybody's 401 and pension took it on the chin. Right, exactly. And basically, what did we get? Did anybody bail them out? So now people are left with a long-term retirement instability. And yet we gave billions to those guys and now they're making billions. And so people want to know, what are we going to do to make sure that Americans who lost their retirement security are secured for the future? So if you could talk about what exactly seeing a 40% income loss has meant to you on a daily basis.
It's pretty drastic. I'm going to have to sell my house. I've done the numbers. I've crunched the numbers. I'm taking out, I've left his insurance policy from when he died, and I'm buying a condo. I will be living a less standard lifestyle than I did when he was alive. That's not the American dream. I'm going to have to work for the rest of my life, where I had planned to retire with my husband, to spend that time with him in 2 more years when I'm 65. I only make $17 an hour, and I work for a police department. There's no overtime. There's nothing that there's involved. I am going to have to be self-sufficient for the rest of my life. And the life that we had planned for, that was guaranteed us through our pension, it's like that's a dream. And someone snatched it away from us. And that's not the way the American dream is. We were taught to believe you work for something, and someone promises you something. That promise is supposed to be there, and it's always supposed to be there for you. So the home that we had for 40 years, I now have to go through that. And all the memories that were there, you know, we had it before we had our 2 children, brought them into the house. I had my dad's baptism there. All those memories I have to forgo now because of this, and now I have to move into a 3-room condo, and that's where I'm going to have to live for the rest of my life. And it's bad enough I lost my husband through all of this stress, and now I'm taking another loss financially and emotionally. It's tragic. It never should have happened. And if these cuts become fruition, there's going to be hundreds and thousands of people that are going to be dying. And I cannot believe that this government cannot find a solution. And that's what we're looking to all of you for, to help us. We trusted the people who were supposed to handle our money. They did not handle that money in our benefit. There has to be some accountability there. And that's why we are asking for a forensic audit. And shake it out, and whomever's guilty, if the funds were mishandled, those people should be prosecuted. There has to become a time where it's going to be us to stand and say, this is enough, because we're the guinea pig. And if we don't get a system then in place to say that we're going to be protected, it's going to be a domino effect, and it's going to be other pensions that are going to be in trouble. And the economy that you count on the middle class to drive, to keep this country going, it's going to be non-existent. And then what's going to happen to this country? This won't be America anymore. You'll have so many people living in poverty. But the bottom line is we trusted these people. We did everything right. And then at the last minute, you know, this is thrown in our face. My husband couldn't have gone back to work. There's a lot of these retirees that can't go back to work. And let's face it, my husband was president of his local. There's no way he's going to get a job anywhere else where he's going to make that kind of money. And they want you to go be a greeter at Walmart or Myers for $5 an hour to supplement. That's not what we worked for. That's not what we were promised. And that's what we're here for. And we're looking to you experts to find a solution for us. And if our country has enough money to give to everyone else who looks for a humanitarian help, because there's a humanitarian crisis. For God's sake, they have to look and see that we're the ones that are in crisis right now. And if you have enough money to give to foreign countries, you got to have enough money to protect us and the mine workers and everybody else.
Well, I thank you. My time, or our time, has expired, but no one could have articulated that better, and I thank you for that. I would just add, though, the program for Teamsters was on its way to solvency in 2007, and I would say that the banking crisis took a big chunk out of this, and yet we bailed them out. I see everybody nodding. We bailed them out.
Right.
So, you know, juxtaposed to how much money we spend on foreign aid, I guarantee you that the Dallas Fed has estimated that this cost us trillions of dollars in loss to our economy. And now we're somehow supposed to put together here out of this panel the justification for why, you know, we should do something to help this pension. I don't need a justification. You just made the justification why we owe it to retirees to correct this and not just leave Wall Street with all the cash. Thank you,
right.
Mr. Chair.